So the tech world is filled with discussions about how AI is impacting jobs, and there's just like less and less jobs available, less people are hiring, layoffs, all that sort of thing. And I think there's something else that's happening as well. I feel like we keep needing more and more and more help, but it's sort of in a category that's really hard to like define and actually make a job posting for. So there's certainly a lot less like, oh, front end developer jobs where, you're just sort of like taking a Figma and following a layout and building the code for it. Because, that's able to be done by AI and a lot of jobs are able to be done in that way with AI. But there's sort of this other type of job where, people are like handling all these weird situations, managing product changes, handling new integrations coming in, dealing with stakeholders, all of that sort of thing. It's sort of like a project manager job and a developer job has gotten combined, but it's also sort of like a business ops job. And we need like a lot of people to do that. And looking for that person, it's kind of hard to even describe what that sort of person even does. We know like generally what those jobs are called. Like, I've seen them called integrators, I've seen them called like change agents, I've seen them called all sorts of different things. But ultimately, like when those of us who are like hiring for someone new are looking for someone, uh we're using a lot of really like esoteric language where we're like, oh, he's like a heavy hitter, or she's like, you put any challenge in front of her and she can tackle it, don't worry, and things like that. And so what we're kind of talking about is like adaptability to change. And so we're looking for people who are able to like grab a business goal, look at that goal holistically, go down into the micro details to figure out what technical ramifications there are to that goal, maybe assemble the team or actually work on the tech to actually accomplish that goal. And then when a new thing comes along, pivot and shift and start reacting to that new thing instead. So we're looking for this person who's sort of like this multi-tool and is able to constantly adapt. And we don't know exactly what the business needs are going to be this month, next month, the month after that, because the tech industry is shaping and shifting so fast. And so it's very hard to put a job posting together because you don't know what's coming up. So we need just these like general change agents who just know how to do like anything in particular and know how to drive overall goals. And that is really hard to put a job description for. It's really hard to even describe what you're looking for. It's hard for me to even describe it right now. I'm using a lot of like weird, words to talk around what I'm saying. But that doesn't build itself into a very clean job description that I can just post and then monitor how many of that type of job that I'm looking for. Most of the people who are hired to do that sort of work are hired through a relational hire where, somebody knows someone else, or, they contract on a project for a while and then someone on the project realizes that they're really valuable and then hires them and they come in. And so those types of jobs, I mean, we need so many people for that. We're running into all sorts of weird scenarios where like the spec was generated by AI and now somebody needs to understand the technical details and go talk to all the stakeholders and figure out how to create a new project spec that actually makes sense. Or like, oh, hey, this new API needs to be added in and we don't really understand how it's used or how it fits into the workflow, and oh, we need to develop a new workflow to support these business goals. People who can do all that sort of thing and sort of play in a lot of cases all the roles at once, those are the type of people we need. But it's hard to find them. So those sorts of things just don't lend towards job postings, and they don't lend towards themselves towards traditional roles. So we're finding like people who can do that and who have proven that they can do that under various contexts. They are in crazy demand. They're working tons of hours. People are asking them for their services constantly. They're getting referred to stuff constantly. And then people who just can't quite do that, they're looking for that predictable job and they're trying to figure out what should I do? And they just can't find it because those sorts of jobs are mostly done by softwares or workflows or AI. And AI isn't doing a perfect job it's actually doing a terrible job in a lot of cases at replacing work. There's so much to do, and there's so many problems that it causes that we did not expect to have, and we could not have foreseen. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do in the tech sector. It just isn't as quantifiable or easily describable, and it doesn't slot into roles as nicely anymore.